Hello everyone, welcome to the third part of the Introduction to Dental Anatomy series. For this third part, we'll be taking tooth surfaces. So tooth surfaces, there are multiple tooth surfaces in the tooth. There's the outer surface, there's the inner surface, and there's the biting surface, and there is the approximating surface. The approximating surface is the surfaces that we mean between the teeth. So the outer surface is the surface that is between, that faces the lips and the cheeks. This right there. This is the surface right there. And the inner surface is the surface that is inside, that faces towards the tongue or the palate. So it's just right over there, just the inside. And same here. And the biting surface is the part of is the surface of the tooth that you use to cut something or to chew something. And it's different for the interior and the posterior. So it's just this part right there. It's different for the interior, for the posterior, sorry, to the interior. Approximating surfaces is just the surfaces between the teeth. Alright, so first we'll just go along with the outer surface, the surface that faces the lips and the cheeks. For the interior and the posterior, it differs for the interior and the posterior, its names. So for the interior surface, we call it the labial surface. This right there, so I've just highlighted it in the slime color. We call it the labial surfaces. Labial as in towards the lips, and for the posterior teeth we call it the buccal surface. Buccal relating to the cheek. The word buccal means relating to the cheek. The word labial, it means it relates to the lips. So for the posterior, as you can see, it's called the buccal surface. For the interior, it's called the labial surface. It's the same for the upper teeth and the lower teeth. For the inner surfaces, and for the surface towards the tongue, for the maxillary and mandibular, it differs for the maxillary and mandibular teeth. So for the upper teeth, the maxillary teeth, it is called the palatal surface, right over there. And for the lower teeth, the surface that is inside the mouth, or facing towards the tongue, is called the lingual surface. Now, sometimes in textbooks, you may just see that the upper teeth, the inner surface of the upper teeth, is also called the lingual surface. So both the inner surface, no matter what, is just called lingual. This called lingual, this called lingual. In article, you may see in articles and textbooks, it's just commonly used, easier. But the accurate word is the palatal surface for the upper, and the lingual surface for the lower. So I've highlighted the palatal surface with this bluish color, and I've highlighted this lingual surface, as you can see, with this slimish color. Alright, so the biting surface or the chewing surface of your teeth, it differs from the interior and the posterior. But in the posterior teeth, it's called, so in the premolars and the molars, it's called your occlusal surface, as you can see right there, highlighted in this blue color. It's the same for the upper and lower. And for the interior teeth, it is called the incisal surface, as you can see here, highlighted in this greenish color. Is just the top part of this tooth that is used to incise or cut something. As you can see just right there, just the very top part over there. While here is the occlusal surface just used for grinding and chewing. Just right over there. And the approximating surface, the last of these surfaces, is the surface that are between the teeth. So it's not really the front, not the outer surface, just right there. Or not even the inner surface, which is just over there. It's just right between, it's just the surfaces that are between the teeth. Right over there, right over there. So you've got two surfaces. You got a mesial surface and you got a distal surface. How do you know which is which? The mesial surface is the surface that is closest to the midline. And the distal surface is the surface that is the furthest away from the midline. What that means is, this is the midline, as we have talked about in the previous video, this yellow line over there. Get a tooth. For example, okay, let's just get this first molar over there. These are the approximating surfaces, this side and this side. Now, how do you know which is the mesial and which is the distal? As we just said again a moment ago, mesial surface is the surface that is closest to the midline. Okay, so which one is close to the midline? This surface right over there, or this surface right over there? Of course, it's this surface right over there. So this is the mesial surface, and this must be the distal surface. Again, this is the mesial surface of this tooth, and this is the distal surface. It's the same in all 4 quadrants. This is the mesial surface, and this is the distal surface. Now, all mesial surface touch to the opposing distal surface on touch the distal surface on the opposing tooth. So what that means is that this mesial surface of this tooth, the first premolar, touches the distal surface of this canine right over there. That goes for every single tooth except for the central incisors. You can see the mesial surface touched the mesial surface on this tooth. Again here, for the lower, the mesial surface touched the mesial surface for this tooth. Now, there's also something what we call a proximal surface. A proximal surface, it just means a surface between the teeth. It doesn't really matter whether it's a mesial surface or whether it's a distal surface. It's just a generic term that is used to describe both mesial and distal, called a proximal surface. Now let's just recap of all 5 tooth surfaces. Yes, there are 5 tooth surfaces. So there's the labial and buccal, that's the outer surfaces. The buccal on the posterior teeth, just right over there, just on the outer side. And there is the labial surface for the interior teeth, right over there, just on the outside. Now they're both called the facial surface. Both labial and buccal surfaces can be referred as the facial surface. And I've got the inner surfaces. It is called lingual or palatal surface. So just this part over there, that's the lingual, because we're looking at the, well, okay, we're looking at the maxillary, so it must be the palatal surface. But I've just said before that most articles, most textbooks refer to the palatal surface as lingual surface as well. So yeah, that's it for you. And you've got the mesial surface, your third surface, is a surface that is towards the midline, so just this surface right over there. And you've got distal surface, the surface that is away from the midline. So just this surface for this tooth right over there, for this second premolar. And the last, not least, the final surface is your biting surface, the chewing surface, occlusal surface for the posterior teeth, and your incisal surface for the interior teeth. So over there, this is the interior teeth. This is the incisal surface right over there. And you've got the occlusal surface on the posterior teeth right over there. Now that'll be all it for this part of this video. And thanks for watching.